be bisexual, eat hot chip again because I said it in the wrong order, and lie!
Still work for them.
A guy has to work.
And the directors of the company. How do you feel about them these days?
You work it out.
He's guilty, he's lying, he's ugly, he shited his overall diaper, his voice is whack, his name is whack. Me? Brian TTS? Tight as fuck.
Oh my god, Static. He's guilty, he's lied, he's ugly, he's shitted his overall diaper, his voice is whack, his name is whack, Brian TTS, tight as fuck. I fucking love it. Maybe she'll be nice.
Are you
Blue
okay?
did
She's
work.
Staring at me.
I gotta go. God, she's so scary. There's a what?
What is your name?
What room are you in?
Do you want to talk to me?
What room are you in? What room are you in? What room are you in?
Are you talking to me?
Nah, I'm poking around with a Luigi. I'm poking Luigi in the dick spur.
What up, girl?
Let's stay back. I might hurt you again.
You got real dead-eyed on me there.
I'm so scared.
Oh my god, look, it's 2 goldfish.
When that happened,
Joined fish.
it
The
wasn't
fish are
myself
conjoined.
anymore.
Look at the fish.
Something else.
Look at the fish.
Been
The
terrifying
fish are
out.
conjoined. Look at the fish. I'm sorry, I should be paying attention to the plot.
You too?
What is that? This one's not even fucking loaded, bunny. Oh, okay. I think actually we're in a safe spot. No, we're not!
Cumin, let that cook, stirring often until most of the fat is rendered out and you have little brown, crispy beef bits. Now turn off the heat and add 5 cloves of garlic.
Why are you exposing me on the internet?
Instead of worrying about her, worry about your own skin.
Oh, Ashley! What, now you can use a fucking knife? Oh, isn't that convenient? I need significantly more items than what I have. Okay, cheers! Okay, can I make anything? Yeah! You're gonna probably... Oh, he's got his own little weed. Alright, Jello was the original singer, my bad. How can I call myself punk if I don't even know about Jello from Dead Kennedys?
Just I'm looking for my dead Kennedy straight up. I don't know who Jello Biafra is. Like, I didn't fucking know that. Like, that's fucking hilarious. You guy. Nah, I'm a poser, dude.
My husband has stolen my Dead Kennedys shirt and he says I don't even know who Jello is.
Listen, in my defense, she has stolen all of my shirts.
That's what I'm
okay?
supposed to do. I'm the wife. Oh! Don't. Where's that other guy who's lighting me on fire? Where'd that one come from? Don't do that. Do you know who I am? My name is Leon S. Kennedy. Kennedy. Fuck, dude, man. It's just so sticky.
Bitch, you doing a good job. 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 Fuck that laundry. Fuck that dish.
Look at my
Take a
eyes.
break
Look
and
how
shake
fucking
that
red
shit.
they are. Okay. Becca, don't die. No tubaing allowed.
She just trying to open up the pit. That's great. Open it up.
Trade happening? What's that going on? Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Murder me.
Run. No, do the door.
Wow.
Do the door.
Oh.
Why am I drunk? I can't. Hello?
Do the door.
I can't.
Got it? Oh?
Hello? Look, I'm just hiding in the dark. I can't stop.
Why would you hide in the corner?
Look,
Stop moving. Let
I
me heal
can't
you.
stop. I can't stop.
Bunny, please. I beg. Bunny. Stop moving. Stop moving. Don't make me stop moving. No.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Connor, why must you hide?
And I was there. Yeah.
I
Oh, there
farted
it
and
is.
now my undies are heavy. Will you change my diaper? I have
my
stinky
God.
poo-poo in my diaper.
Yeah, you were fired. Unacceptable.
Our Lady of Guadalupe, ripped from Antonia's necklace.
Okay.
Fired.
Okay.
Hello, Static. Okay.
Happy friggin' Friday, motherfuckers. Hello. Welcome in, my friends. How you doing? It's Friday. I hope you're doing freaking great. I'm doing good. It's really hot. And I'm very sweaty, but that's okay because you look like I'm glowing. I got it. I also found my clip-on mustache today, which I couldn't find last stream. So immediately we're off to a freaking great start. Freaking great start. It's so hot, bud. It's so hot. Oh, hi, bud. Hello, my friend. Happy Friday. Welcome, man. How you doing? I hope your day was good.
Firefighter, astronaut, Cabo.
Does it all. Hi, Cabo. Happy Friday, my friend. Welcome in. How are you? How was your week? How was your day? What did you guys eat for lunch today? Tell me everything. But, you know, maybe if you don't want to, you don't have to either. Anyway, let's have a little cheerski. A little cheerski to start off the stream. I'm very excited to get back into the quarry. I killed off 2 characters last time. Which not the best, but hey. Especially because I don't even think I played for 2 hours last time. My number 1 goal is to just not kill Brenda Song's character because I love her. That's it. That's my goal in the whole game. Okay? So that's what we're aiming for here. You ate 3 losses at a card event. Oh no, that doesn't sound fun or nutritional. Cheers. That's light as shit. Oh. Zero calories. Oh hell yeah. Well, as long as you had fun. Cable, that's a fucking mood. You ate graham crackers and you just woke up from a fat nap on a Friday? That's a mood, my friend. Okay, are you guys ready? I'm so excited. Don't disconnect my Xbox controller. I turned it on in advance this time so I don't accidentally kill anyone. Okay, I almost just booted up Detroit Become Human, which is not what we're playing right now. We're playing The Quarry. Here we go. Oh, I should have turned my church checks back on today. He's in hell right now, though. He's hell diving. Okay. Number 1 goal. Not kill Brenda Song. That's all I want in this game. Watch me immediately accidentally kill Brenda Song. For those of you who were not here when we started this, oh my gosh, was it 2 weeks ago now? Because I didn't stream this last Friday. I think it was too hot. Is it going to pick up the game? Or is it just going to think really hard about it? That's cool. Okay. I'm going to make it. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I got this. I'm going to just force it. Boom. Bada bing. Forced. Okay, so if you were not here to see the opening of the quarry and you don't know what the fuck we're doing, this is another one of those, like, I don't know how you would call this. Choose your own story adventure games is kind of how I bucket them. So it's like you're watching a movie, basically, and you got a bunch of different characters that you're controlling, and there's quick time events, and your characters can die. That's basically the gist of these types of games. We're also playing Detroit Become Human right now on Thursdays, which is same kind of game. The Quarry is a horror game. So we are in the woods. I think last round we were 2 camp counselors who were going out a day early, and they got murdered. And now I think there's 6 campers that we're hanging out with, and spooky shit's happening. That's basically it. That's the whole gist of this. Movie mode. Okay. Oh yeah, we're like an hour in. Not very far at all, you see. Okay, we're Ryan. Hi, Hugo. I hope you're having a nice Friday, my friend. We just did our cheers.
I didn't realize it was such
So
a big
cheers.
deal.
Gotta understand.
Yeah, number
repercussions
one
of your
goal.
actions,
Do not kill
Buster.
Brenda Song.
It's a big part of being a counselor, a leader.
Yeah.
Why is it? It's really. Why is it not updating anything? This is being so weird. Why is the capture source being so strange? Hello? Why is... Okay. It's not actually updating it. What the fuck? Why is this being so weird? Is this just weird? Well, okay, now the game capture's working. Okay, whatever. As long as something's working. That's all that matters. Okay. I am Ryan. No, wait. Am I Chris? No, I'm Ryan. Yeah, I'm Ryan.
Just stick to Kumbaya next time, okay?
We are very
What's
close
that?
to his face. We have to inspect it. You gotta tell if he's feeling all right. I think in these games, depending on the choices that you make with the characters, when you do like this pause menu where it shows you their faces too uncomfortably close, I think that they look different depending on what's going on, but I don't know because I haven't really played a lot of these. Oh.
You guys don't do Kumbaya anymore? Good grief. I'm outgrowing my own cliches.
Whenever I think of that song, Kumbaya, I think of... Was it the Mary Chrysler girl? Or is it just another girl that sounds like her? There's that one meme where it's like a house party where people are drinking and there's one girl in the background that's like, we are all God's children. And like there's girls like fighting each other in the background and she's just singing Kumbaya. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
Seriously, Chris, what's going on?
I am sweating.
I just want to get you guys safely out of Dodge before the sun goes down.
Right. We gotta leave. It's the last day of camp. All the kids have left. Oh my god. Tell me why, bitch.
Why?
It's getting dark, Ryan, and it's not safe to drive in the dark. And safety is the first step towards fun.
Suspicious.
Just give me a minute. Where in the good goddamn are they?
All right, we heard him on the phone being creepy to somebody, saying that we all need to leave before midnight or something.
Please say goodbye to Caleb and Kaylee for me. They sort of just snuck off.
Well, you'll see him again next year. Caleb works at the scrapyard during the off season, and Kaylee, well, she's still figuring out what she wants to do. She's got her whole life ahead of her.
Right.
They both just come and go as they please, really. Teenagers, am I right?
Right.
Actually, could have used the help packing up since we were short-staffed.
Hey, you guys seem to manage all right. But I'll tell them both you were sad you missed them. Unlocked the van, put the keys in my pocket, came in the office.
Put them in your coffee cup. That's a good
Right where I
spot for
left
them. It's a good spot for keys. Just put them in your coffee cup.
Let's skedaddle.
All right.
Why don't you get me a Pepsi? And she goes, no.
Hi,
no,
Red.
I go, Mum, I'm okay. It's
Happy
just-"
Friday,
she
friend.
goes, no, you're not thinking.
I was
You're
just
on
playing
drugs."
Fortnite
Normal
with
people
Laws
don't act that
today,
way. I go,
so
"Mum, just give
it's
me
a better,
Pepsi, please.
deeper
All I want is a
layer
Pepsi.
of hearing the
Give it to
Laws
me.
song, the Pepsi
All I
song.
wanted was a Pepsi, just one Pepsi, and she wouldn't give it to me.
Just a
they're all ready
Pepsi.
to go.
Hi,
you're
Val. Happy Friday. Hi, Red. Happy Friday. How are y'all? I hope your week is fucking solid.
Wait, how did you get your phone back before the rest of us?
I never turned it in.
Oh my God, he
You
never
should have
turned
turned
it
it off before you
in.
handed it in, Dylan. Them's the rules, you noob.
That's true, Dylan. Get your shit together. Oh. Okay.
I try not to dwell on the past, man.
Good.
Hey,
'Cause
Dylan's
it's
phone
time
is
to dwell
dead.
in the minivan. Get on with our respective lives. Move it. Let's go. What's the problem?
Oh, right.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
That guy took out something with the engine because he wants to
Yeah, dude, it's
bang
just
one of
like
these girls.
Put.
And so he's
Alright, let
trying
me
to make
try.
them stay for another night.
Dude,
Oh,
I'm
fuck
telling you,
yeah,
alright, it's
Val. You got to
Well,
4
maybe
miles
you're
for the
doing it
first
wrong.
time today. That's exciting. Congratulations.
dude?
Enough, both of you. Shit. Come on.
Alright,
Come on.
chill,
go.
dude.
Yeah, that's rad. Why would you continue?
Back now!
Why would you continue to do that, my guy? Why wouldn't you check the engine first? He says, nah.
Wait!
I'm gonna
I got
keep.
this.
I'm gonna keep pressing that key in. Hell yeah.
Ow, jeez, dude, I was trying to help.
Why did I grab that water bottle?
Okay.
Why did I do that?
Look, it's not that big of a deal.
Why
okay?
was
We'll
that an
just
option?
Spend one more night here.
Ryan's
No!
like, fuck you, firefighter.
Just stop. Let me think.
We cannot stay another night here. Something very bad is going to happen if we stay another night here. This man is freaking out.
Okay. Damn it. You're right. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't pay attention to what button. I just pushed it.
Beep it.
It could have been a chemical fire. I mean, it was a battery, right? So I don't think you want to throw water on a battery, realistically. Chris does not
Hey,
have time
Ron.
for my bullshit.
Come here for a sec.
I didn't do it. Oh my gosh. Hi, Emersu. Oh,
Make sure that
is that
everybody...
is that a Robbie the Rabbit emote? Where's that from? I fucking love Robbie the Rabbit. Oh my god, it's so cute. It's my favorite skin in Dead by Daylight for Legion, and you see it so rarely. And I love it. Hi, welcome in. Also, hi, Bad Brains. Welcome in. Happy Friday. How was the rest of your Jediing? Did you do very good? I was vibing and enjoying hanging out with you earlier, but like you were chatting and just the the ambient Chewbacca in the background. I don't know why I couldn't focus. Oh, Chewie. Yeah. Oh, you went against a Robbie Rabbit the other night, Cable. Fuck yeah. I love Robbie. I love Robbie. Emersu, I hope you're having a nice Friday. Welcome in, my friend.
Is inside the lodge for tonight.
Hell
Lock the
yeah. I was
doors.
vibing.
No
Yeah.
one in,
Chewie
no one
was
out.
always my
No one.
favorite
Got it?
character. And I can't focus when he's
Okay.
just sitting there doing his little noises in the background. I almost
I'll
just
be
tried
back
to do the
first thing in
Chewie
the morning.
noise instinctively, and I'm really
And we'll get
fucking
you all on
glad
the road.
that I didn't.
You just have to keep
I can't do it.
everyone inside.
Don't ask me to do
Promise
it.
me you'll do that.
Should I listen to this man? I feel like he's trying to keep me safe, but I also am really suspicious of
Yeah.
adults.
Sure. We'll stay inside.
Attaboy. Lock the doors. And for God's sake, keep the noise down.
Wait, why is there another car? There's another car and you're leaving all of us here. We're gonna get murdered. Everyone's going to get murdered. It's very suspicious.
Said to stay inside.
That's half of your
that
stream
we're
when you're
not
playing
leaving until the
Kotar?
morning.
Just making weird alien noises.
Are
That seems right.
You kidding me?
It did seem like it was a lot of weird alien noises. Here, I'm gonna be a professional streamer and do some of these things. These are some lovely folks that also stream, and you should check them out. Because they're good vibes, you know? There should be an option for Wookiee noise. Yeah, I bet you would want me to make a Wookiee noise, Cabo, so you can clip it. I know your MO. I know you.
Are you kidding me? What are we supposed to
Just
do?
remind me in an hour when I'm more stoned and I forgot about this conversation, and I'll just instinctively make a
We could
Chewbacca
go
noise.
outside until morning.
Yeah.
Or we could do something else.
I don't think we should party outside.
No. We should
You're
really
welcome,
listen to
Bad
what
Banks.
Chris told us to do.
Of course. Who cares what Chris told us to do? He's not our boss anymore.
He seems like really scared of staying here another night, though.
P-A-R-T. Why the fuck not? All right, it seems like the stars have aligned for us, no?
Okay.
That's Brenda's
One
song.
last
She's the one
epic
I'm trying to keep
bonfire
alive. That's the
blowout
only
fall
one I
time.
care about. Brenda's song's in the yellow. We love Brenda.
Oh, dude. Fuck yes. I'm in. Nick, you're in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Dylan's in, obviously. My man. Caitlin?
I go where my people need me.
Yeah, okay.
Her name is
Em,
Caitlin.
what do you say?
Yeah, I'm in.
Mr. Hackett seemed pretty insistent we stay in
I
the
also
lodge.
like her.
Just trying to freak us out, you know? Like one of Ryan's stupid ghost stories.
Why would he want to scare us?
Why didn't any of us leave with him? Yeah, he did seem fucking freaked
I
out.
don't think he was trying
Welcome
to freak
in. My
us
name is-
out, Jacob. I think
My
he
name is
was
Pitchy.
really
Hi,
freaked out by something.
Pitchy. Happy Friday,
Chris
my
seemed real
friend.
serious about
Welcome
this, guys.
in.
Just say you're in, man. Come on. One.
That little shithead spelling party is what's his name? Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins. Really? Damn, I didn't know that. You telling me that man's a Nepo baby? Fuck
Last
yeah,
night.
Friday. Hi, Pitchy.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
he won't even
I
know.
promised.
No.
Damn,
dude,
today I
dude.
learned.
It's all good. All right,
You
we get
Nepo
it.
baby.
You know,
Why is
you
everyone
don't
bored
wanna
of me?
disappoint Daddy.
Damn, I'm just trying to be the right kid. Someone's gonna get murdered here today.
Yeah, well,
I
someone's
care.
got to give a shit.
Oh.
You know what? I don't even care what you guys do.
Oh.
I'm doing what Chris told me to do.
Boo!
Ryan, come on, man. Wait.
Yeah, the mouths are a little fucked up. I feel like mouths are hard. You know? We've
All
come
right.
such a long way though
Party
from like
planning
Final
committee, let's do
Fantasy
this.
X mouths.
Okay.
So we
First
got
things
that.
first. Nick and Abby, you go get some firewood. Emma and I will go to the stores for some supplies.
Stores?
And Dylan, you just, I don't know, figure out how to charge the phones for something.
Someone's gonna get
All
murdered.
right, let's do this.
Okay, we've been left alone. There's somebody with a sniper rifle watching. They're watching Brenda Song. Oh no, it's an old white man. Whoa, what's that big guy? Is he covered in blood? Yes, he is. Can't be anything good about that. Oh, he's got you. Gross. Surely nothing bad could happen. Oh my god. Oh good, he just got his little blood jar. He brings around for touch-ups. Gotta bring the touch-up jar of blood up. That's he's smearing it all over his face. He's doing that. Oh my god. Oh, hi Tom. It's Thomas. Hi Tom's toast. Oh, the Raiders serotonin has gone off the charts. That's amazing. Hello. I'm gonna give you a shout out in a second, but I just wanted to not, you know, explode my computer first, so we gotta time it properly. Hi Raiders, welcome in, Tom. What were you doing? You were playing Clone Hero. Is that like the Guitar Hero one, right? Were you fucking shredding it, bud? If y'all do not know our lovely friend Tom's Toast, please go give him a follow. He is a fantastic UK streamer. He's very funny. He plays all sorts of different little games, and we highly recommend the homie. Also, hi Squeaks. Is it Spaghetti? Spaghetti? Is it Spaghetti? Please tell me your name is Spaghetti. You played Spindle. What is Spindle? Hell yeah. Thank you for rating me, my friend. For anyone that does not know me, hi, my name is Bunny. I am a Canadian variety streamer. I do all sorts of shit. I do a lot of horror games. I'm very 420 friendly, and I don't know, we do makeup and cosplays and all sorts of weird shit here. We like to have fun, you know? Welcome in. Welcome in. My lovely partner Church is playing behind me and listening to me talking about my game out of context, which is even better because he has no idea what's happening and I'm just talking about buckets of blood. Anyway, welcome in, Raiders. I think we're going to have a little raid rave to welcome in our lovely friend Thomas. I'm going to move over here so I don't explode my computer again. That's all, you know, important. This is important steps. We got to take steps to this, you see. Spindle's an old school action adventure about death and the many ways we choose to deal with it. With your trusty pig by your side, you form a most curious team embarking on a quest to learn what it truly means to meet death. Well, that sounds fucking interesting. I'm going to have to check out your VOD. Tell Church I say hi and I miss him. Tom says hi and he misses you.
Hi, Tom. Miss you too.
Do you want to come say hi to Tom? Just, you know, poke your head in. There it is. Ta-da!
Hello, everyone. I'm in hell. I have to go. I'm being killed.
Okay, bye. Thank you. That was your Church check. Okay, we're going to have a lovely little raid rave to welcome in our lovely friend Tom's Toast and all the friends that he brought with him. If you would like to party with us, you can spam some emotes to party along, or you can just sit there and vibe. I don't know. Do what you want with your life. It has a little bit of flashing imagery. It's nothing really excessive, but if anything is like too much for you, it's only about 1 minute, 2 minutes long, and then we're gonna get right back into the game, which is Scary Ass the Quarry. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Yo, my button didn't work the way it was supposed to. I gotta fix my button. But other than that, everything was a fucking vibe. Also, Church 100% already has his shirt off, so don't worry about it, dear boy. Check. Done. Thank you for partying to welcome in our raiders. Tom, thank you for the raid. If you need to go and do any post-stream cleanup stuff, please feel free to go and do that. Same to anybody that came in with the raid. It's important to feed yourself. Take care of yourself. If you've been sitting for a while, get up and move around. Oh, Tom, you comparing it to Spiritfarers really made me piqued my curiosity. I love Spiritfarer. That's a beautiful fucking game. Kabo, thank you for pinning our goal. Our one goal. Our one goal of the night is to not kill Brenda Song. Oh, hell yeah. Grab a beer. Okay. We're back in it. Well, this lady's creepy. Oh, right. This is the tarot lady.
Come back to me.
She's chill. We like her.
Let's see what you found. Empty-handed. You need to look around you, find my cards,
what
and
do you
I can
mean?
help you. Where I'm from, we look out for each other.
Wow.
Find them, please.
I didn't really have an opportunity to walk around in that one, I guess. Fuck.
You'd better be going.
Oh, I do
It's
like feeling the
still
feels when I play
early in
games
the
sometimes. You know, I think
but
it's quite
I
beautiful when a
won't
game can
wait.
invoke
Not
that
for
kind of
those
level of
with a
feeling in
story
you.
to tell. Be careful. Look out for yourselves.
I'm looking out for Brenda Song.
Look out for my cards.
And also your cards, so this lady stops yelling at me. She's not yelling at me. She's just making me feel very disappointed in myself. I'll look harder. I'm sorry. Oh shit, we're in chapter 2, y'all.
So here we are, stranded in the great American
Okay.
wild with nothing but
Brenda
a wit to
Song
guide
is
us.
one of the
Will
actresses in this
humanity
game.
prevail, or will we grow ravenous and
She's
resort to
also
eating the flesh
in
of the deceased, like I saw
Running
in that one
Point,
plane
which is
crash
on Netflix
movie?
right now, which I love. Yeah, London. Her name is London. Yes. From Sweet Lack of
London Gipton.
Sweet Whack. Sweet Whack of
Filet au Jacob.
Sweet Whack of Cody.
Rich in
No!
carbohydrates, rare beefcake may leave an irritating taste lingering on
Sweet
the
Whack of
palate.
Cody.
And some would say.
Woo! Woo! Okay. I gotta focus on this fucking game. I'm gonna kill everyone.
Looks like you're trying to thread a needle with a packet of loose sausages.
Oh
That's
my
a
God.
sentence.
I'm almost done, okay?
Threading a needle with a package of
For the
law.
record, your analogies are very hurtful.
sausages. Yeah, that's harsh, man.
Okay, I'm almost there. 1 second.
Brenda Song is the character in Yellow. I'm gonna kick this. I'm gonna kick it.
Whoa.
And scene.
I mean, I could have kicked it.
You loosened it for me.
Brenda Song is one of the characters. She's wearing yellow. I can't remember the name of her actual character.
If I were a beer,
Hi, Becca.
I'll be
Happy
hiding.
Friday. How you doing? Welcome in. I haven't killed anyone yet. It's a miracle.
How are you doing?
oh, it's my beer dar.
Stop it.
Helps me dar for beers.
You're darring? You're darring for
How
the
am
beers?
I just noticing how super lame you are.
For realsies.
But it's my beer dar, dude.
I'm gonna go over here. Wow, the kids really wiped this place out.
Don't bang that man. Do better.
Mr. H loved his accessories.
Okay, so we've all decided to stay at camp and party, even though Mr. H was like, fuck no, no one should stay here another night. And then he just decided to leave all of us, so
Think it's locked.
that's cool. What if the code is 4639?
Don't know what I was expecting.
Oh. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, jackpot.
Hey, check out my giant melons.
Oh.
See, you just cut a hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
You pour in your vodka. It's party time.
Baby,
You pour the vodka right in it.
you gotta wait like a
It's the most fun you can have
couple
with
of
a whole
hours
lawnmower.
after you do that
Or-
for it to saturate.
Well, second most.
Man, we used to do that
Okay,
shit with
I'm gonna leave you
Everclear
two
back in the
alone
day.
and Go look for some more
I
party
do
supplies.
not suggest doing that. Whew. Do you think that maybe they're all late teens, early 20s, and they aren't kids anymore, that yet they shouldn't be trusted alone, even if there wasn't some kind of creature or creatures in the woods in the lake? Yes, Wild Woman. All of these children are suspicious. I'm 36, so anyone that's under the age of 25 is a child to me. Also, welcome in. Happy Friday. I'm trying not to kill Brenda Song. That's our #1 goal of the night. Used to use Everclear as a solvent for drugs? That sounds right. I used to drink it and put it in cherries and eat those. Don't do that either. Chris is fine. Whoa, did I find a what is this? Did I find a clue? You'd be 38 in September. Hell yeah, Bad Brains. What is this? Why can't I? This is... I'm not paying enough attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm gonna get everyone killed. You're almost 50 and there's no way in God's green earth that I would stay at an empty summer camp? Fuck no. Hell no, man. I would not be out here volunteering in the first place. Actually, I kind of like the idea of doing it, but I watch too many scary movies. There's no actual way I could be able to stay out here in the woods. I would be scared. Hell yeah. What am I looking for in here? Again, I'm not listening to anything that anyone is telling me what to do. I deeply apologize. I'm not good at multitasking. What's this?
Who buys this crap?
Oh, we're looking for beer, right? It's that guy who was smearing blood on himself. Yo, we gotta get out of here. Damn, this is a fucking weird shaped room. Who designed this room? Oh. Lodge renovation plans. Okay. I'm looking for a tarot card so that old lady stops being disappointed in me. Also, I immediately became lost leaving that area. Everything in here looks the same.
I wonder where this goes.
Kick it.
Locked.
I'm gonna kick that shit. I don't need no man.
Ow!
She broke her leg.
Mother! Hubbard!
What you done to your foot there? That looks painful.
Shut up.
Mistakes were made. Leg snapped in half. Immediate regret. Anyway.
Done. Whoa!
I guess that door did look a lot thicker than the other doors.
Whoa.
Fucking.
I'm sure that definitely will not bite me in the
God,
ass
this
later
one.
when I'm running for my life
I
from
wonder if
a
this place
murderer.
locked up.
Her leg already broken.
Think he'll be pissed when we made a stash?
What?
Oh, Becca, yes.
No. I mean, he left us stranded here. It's like, human rights or...
Okay, I'm gonna pause because I cannot, I can't multitask. We're just gonna look really deep into this lady's eyes. Okay, big cheers to anyone who is participating. If you do not smoke, that's okay too. You can cheers with whatever, anything else you got. Hell yeah, Carlos. You can cheers with your water or your beer, or you can just like put your little pinky up to the screen and be like, boop, boop, you know? Okay, ready? Big cheers. Boop. Are you dying?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a lot of fire going on. Never mind, I'm not gonna make him smoke weed. Okay, we're back on our quest.
Whatever.
Sure.
Alright. Now let's see what we are working with. Hold that. The door will latch otherwise.
I don't like that either.
Oh. Hell yeah. In and out. Job done. Boom.
I want to look around.
Go for it.
All right, thanks, buddy. I'm looking for tarot cards. I wish it wasn't so goddamn dark. What's in here? Evidence.
Jacob, check this out.
What? I can't move or else the door will latch.
They look like camping supplies.
Oh, okay. There's tents back at the fire pit, so
There's
just...
blood on them, bud.
Let's go.
Did a bear do this?
A bear did not. The bear did that and then took him inside? Alright.
Oh, cool.
that
What?
a rifle?
What is it?
Is that a shotgun?
Gun.
Can we take the shotgun?
Oh, cool.
Take the shotgun.
And code.
Okay. That feels suspicious. Oh my god, girl, do not do that with the shotty.
Okay. I'm done.
I am no longer dying.
Smoke weed.
Thank you.
I feel like we 100% need that goddamn gun. In any situation in the woods by ourselves, we need the gun. Okay. I didn't find any tarot cards.
So you're really gonna keep the gun, huh?
Yeah.
For bears.
Okay. Well, I am gonna find something to haul this lot back to camp.
It's okay, wild woman. Words are hard. Oh, is this still this same thing over and over again? Right, okay. Okay. Let's walk on this side maybe. There's nothing else to look over on the right side. Was this room open beforehand? Everything is so fucking dark. I can't see anything. I feel like I'm like priming an area that I'm gonna have to run through or something, right? All these are open now.
All right.
Ooh, what's in the safe?
I'm in.
Hey, very nice. What else is in there?
Just some fireworks.
Oh, fireworks?
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think we should.
No, Emma. Fireworks.
No.
I feel like fireworks are crossing
No
the
fireworks.
What? But you got a gun. Why can't I have firecrackers?
Because the gun
Because
is
you
for bear protection,
don't seem
and the
very
fireworks
smart.
could start a forest fire.
I'm in charge.
Stupid forest fires.
Hey, I found these like torn up bags back there. They were
Yeah, I don't
pretty
trust
messed
this
up, and I
man. He
think
ain't getting
they
any
might have
goddamn
had
fireworks.
blood on-
Oh, stop.
Exactly,
Stop.
wild woman. I'm like,
right
A,
there.
we're gonna light something on fire. B, one of these is gonna blow their goddamn hands off.
Oh, dude. Peanut butter
C,
pops.
it just alerts the murderers in the
peanut butter
woods to where they
fucking
are.
butter pops.
What is a peanut butter pop? I want a butter pop.
What are butter pops?
You do got that
No.
backward ass hat. That's how you know.
I can't believe it. Okay. Pop, peanut butter pops. Pop, them in your mouth. Pop. Oh my god.
What?
They're like the greatest snack of all time.
What are they? Are they like popcorn?
What? No.
Yeah,
They're nothing like
bitchy.
popcorn. They're like
Right
their
on
own
time.
thing. Like their own subgenre.
I like his little
of fruit
dance.
snack.
That was a good
You know what?
dance.
I haven't had these since I was a kid. You are in for such a treat.
Wait, is there an expiration date on that bag?
No, they're still good.
Oh my god, they're like 20 years old, aren't
Okay. Look. they
Yeah, I wasn't
predate
expecting him to
expiration
just
dates.
do a whole song and
Well,
dance.
You're gonna love them.
He had the coordinated dance down. I say that, but I remembered like the grease, like fucking Russia,
I
fucking
saw
teeth commercial for a very
wheelbarrow
long
out
time.
front, so we can load up
I
all
get
our
it.
booty in there.
I'm sorry, what?
Booty? Oh, it means like treasure or butts.
No, before that.
Wheelbarrow?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like a barrel with wheels. You can put stuff in it and just wheel it around.
Oh, I see.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which way?
We got a shotgun. We got shotgun shells. I did not find any goddamn taros.
All right. The inner
You're
sanctum.
now Dylan.
It's just an office.
This is where the magic happens.
Okay, yeah, let's just make this quick.
Sure, just give me a sec to get this going. And engage. Podcasts.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
What's it called? The one that you're listening to right
I'm
now?
a nice man as Dylan.
Bizarre yet bona fide.
So like ghosts and stuff?
It's like, yeah, like the weird and the wonderful, digging up weird mysteries and discussing if they're, well, bona fide.
Okay.
Boner. Fide. Get it?
Boners.
Boner.
Your wit knows no bounds.
So, should we check out what Mr. H keeps in his private den of sin?
I don't know, man. I feel a little weird going through his stuff.
Okay, well, I don't.
Hell yeah, Dylan, get in
I mean,
there.
come on, what kind of dirty secrets is the owner of a summer camp full of impressionable young children gonna have anyway?
Let's find out.
Not Mr. H, I know. He's cool.
It's always been cool to me.
All right. We got a family photo.
Kaylee and Caleb Hackett. Weird kids, huh?
I like them.
Yeah, me too. They are pretty reclusive, you have to admit.
Okay. What's that?
Well, hello, what is this?
Ooh.
You hear that?
Is that a trap door?
I knew that there was a secret sex dungeon around here somewhere.
Yeah.
I bet you Mr. H is into some real kinky shit.
Oh my gosh.
I doubt it.
It's
Weren't
probably
there a
just
couple
his like
counselors who never showed up.
his oh shit door.
Why?
All right.
Secret sex dungeon.
Yeah, it's not funny. It probably just goes to the basement or something. Open it up.
All right, well, it looks like a pit of eternal darkness. So
Awful.
You're being
Hate that.
dramatic.
Climb down, take a look. Look, you can squeeze through there.
No.
You
No.
opened it. You climbed down.
Oh my god. Obviously climbing down there feels like a bad thing to do. But I am curious. What do you think, chat? Should we go down this very suspicious ladder into the ground and probably get murdered in the basement? Or should I just like shut this door and say hell no? Hell no. Hell no? We got one hell no. Let's go? Oh, Becca. I'm curious. I can't make decisions. I'm like curious to know what's down there, but I'm probably gonna kill him, right? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Going into the basement. It's fucking creepy.
What's down there?
Oh my god, Ryan, you will not believe this.
What?
It's nothing.
Oh.
I had you go in there for a second, didn't I?
No, it is weirdly large. Why is this?
Maybe. Just shut up.
Was that the room that we were in before? The counselors?
It is pretty spooky down here, though, and it smells very unnatural, so...
Where Max got mauled?
Yeah, okay, I'm coming back up.
Oh, fuck no. Well, that's suspicious. Okay, so the ladder is sexually unsound now.
Ooh, that's a nice
I'm sure that
check.
won't
Yeah,
bite
you
us
said
in the
I
ass
hope
later.
Mr. H doesn't catch you taking his baby out for a joyride.
Ringy dingy ding. Oh, sorry, bud. Gotta take this 1 second. Hello, Hackett's Quarry Summer Camp. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. What can I do for you on this darn tootin' doozy of a day?
Is that your impression of Mr. H?
I feel like Mr. H must surely know that if he's
you're
leaving
absolutely right. He
this
does
group
need to be
of
nicer to Dylan.
young adults or
And,
whatever
what's
alone
that?
at the camp for another
You
night
want
that
him to
they're
give
going
Dylan
to
his
go
phone
through all
number?
of this shit
That's
and have a
little
party, right?
forward,
Like,
but I can see what I can do.
yeah, they don't want to go walk around the massive storeroom, and I don't blame them because I feel like that's where my other character got killed. So there was something weird down there that made scary noises.
Oh. Laura Kearney and Max Brindley.
Oh yeah, those are the ones that never showed up.
Yeah, it's because of these goobers that we had to work extra shifts this summer.
I think they're in the basement somewhere, man. So, okay. Well, we're back to exploring. What's
Hey,
in
what's
here?
the gun for?
Chris, Mr. H told me it was for, bears.
Bears? Here?
We are in the
Yeah,
woods.
he said they don't really come around because he's got the gun.
Yeah.
Bears.
Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
Okay, we have a second shotgun in play.
Dude, what if we're out partying tonight out in the woods and we end up in a sort of most dangerous game situation?
Like when people hunt other people?
You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. What I mean, think about it. It's camp is over and
Oh
hunting
my
season
god,
has just
this
begun.
is this a red herring or is this just
what if
foretelling
okay,
it?
bear with me here. What if what's on the menu tonight is us?
Bruh.
Well, then I guess we would need to protect ourselves.
Exactly. That's why we need the gun for protection.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
What about for fun? No? Okay. Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, I tried.
Well, we know where the gun is if we need it.
That's fair.
You're calling
Yeah,
me.
it does feel like some foreshadowing for sure. Or it could be a red herring, right? Where they're just like, it's so obvious we're
Yo,
not
my
going to
guy,
use it.
toss me the keys.
So you can poke around in Chris's private area?
Yes.
I'm sorry, is that something that only you're allowed to do?
Hardy har har.
Come on, what's the harm in looking? You're not a little bit curious? I'm not gonna touch anything.
Fine. Don't let me regret it.
Can't promise that, but
I got it.
Nothing
okay.
but that.
I had to pay attention to
You're using that wrong.
what was the actual button as opposed to just panicking and mashing everything. Shocking.
Huh. Fashion icon.
Mr. H knows what he likes.
Sure he does. Wow, there's... Yo.
Hey, maybe we shouldn't.
What is with all these creepy little fucking sneaky doors, man? I'm not vibing with this.
Brian?
Whoa, what the fuck?
Oh.
These monitors, this is the camp.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, that
Is Mr.
should
H spying on us?
maybe exist, but it's weird that it's in a closet.
I mean,
hidden.
No, he can't be. These are just, they're all different trails in the woods around camp.
Suspicious.
Sure.
Most of the cameras are pointed away from camp, so it's not like he's spying on the kids, unless they wandered out into the woods.
He's
You know, these are
watching
just
for something.
Probably just trail cameras.
What are trail cameras?
People set them up to catch weird, random shit.
Okay, yeah, like what?
Like Bigfoot sightings, you know, that kind of thing.
Don't. He says, I'm going to just start watching all of them. Maybe he listens
I
to your
didn't know that Mr. H
podcast.
was into that kind of stuff. Shit, maybe he likes that podcast that you listen to.
Secret hobby, I guess.
Maybe.
Expensive hobby.
Yeah, well, I mean, what else are you gonna do out here?
Yeah, I guess camp probably does get pretty lonely when there's no one else around.
Yeah.
Okay, but why go through all the trouble of hiding this room
Yes.
through a secret door in the closet?
I mean, it's not exactly secret, right? Like, it's just hidden by stuff.
It's a secret
Yeah,
door.
that's what a secret is, Ryan. It's weird. It's majorly
Yeah,
weird.
I don't disagree with you, but
It's gotta be something juicy in here.
Dylan, it's none of our business. And if you really want to know, you can ask him tomorrow. I'm sure that won't be an awkward conversation, like, at all.
Okay, yeah, maybe I will.
All right. I'm leaving this secret lair. Have fun.
Hey, you just admitted that it's a secret lair.
It's got a microphone. Why does he have a? Why do you need a microphone?
What was that?
Fuck no. Somebody just knocked out that camera. What do you mean? Stop. It's not nothing. You just saw a man get up and knock that out. God damn these stupid white boys. Fucking Christ. God damn it. Okay, Hackett House, excavation site, woods walk, lodges, the island, the boathouse. Oh my god, y'all, I'm gonna get lost in the fucking woods. What's this?
Huh.
Okay, it's all the mail for the 2 counselors that didn't show up. It did kind of look like that guy that, what was his name, Carl? That Marcus in Detroit Become Human was taking care of. What else is in here?
Whoa, there's some pretty heavy-duty stuff in here.
Yeah, maybe let's not touch that.
Yeah, there's nothing fun.
It's got a lot of painkillers. Okay. What's in this room? Get in his bed. Get in it. Get in his bed. Grab in there. Become the counselor. Okay. I think that's it. Damn, it's real hard to walk around. My body is difficult. Meow. What else we got? Can we punch this? Ooh.
So, got anything going on when you get back home? School or?
Jury's out.
Understood. Girlfriend?
Not exactly.
Boyfriend?
Free agent.
Cool, yeah. Me too.
Are the phones?
Yeah, probably.
You want to check?
Oh, let's just give him another minute or two, just to be sure.
Oh yeah. Do.
Nice. Full up.
That's only 28%. That's not full up. What the fuck, man? Okay, we have an ad that wants to run, my friends. So I'm going to take that opportunity to go to BRB and let it run. So anyone that's not subscribed won't be missing anything. I'm going to grab some more water and I'm going to grab a snack. It is a great opportunity for you to grab a snack or some water or, I don't know, stand up or something. I don't know. We'll be right back, okay? We'll be back.
God, your Gooby's pretty good, man. Oh my god, the outfit though. I just have on a turtleneck. Oh god, buddy, there's just...
Okay, but for real, how many nights are there? Is it like a week that I have to survive? There's no way that this game can be that long. Like further than that, right? Okay. This man is talking. He's saying blah blah blah, something about animatronics, blah blah blah. You should probably check them, blah blah blah. You're all here still. 5 nights. Oh. Is it 5 Nights at Freddy's? Is it 5 Nights at Freddy's? How do I have to survive in 5 Nights at Freddy's? I'm fired. There's 420 mode, but it's not happy? In 5 Nights at Freddy's? I cannot believe myself. Really just sitting here saying how many nights do I have to do this? It's literally in the time.
Hey, you want in on this? You want in on this?
Everybody smack the butt.
Everyone smack.
Everybody
smack
kicks
it.
the butt.
Joe's drunk again. It's time to smack his ass.
All at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
3. Don't do it. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on.
1, 2,
3.
You can make up a song. We can make up a song.
Okay, let's like, I don't... Oh. The power of Christ compels you. No! Tigor! I would like to leave this room now. Oh, what's this? No? What the hell? Why am I spinning? Is this supposed to be happening? Am I good? What the hell? Stop it. Stop it. Get help! No! I can't stop spinning! What the fuck is happening? Oh, is he slowing down? He kind of is slowing down. This is so weird. Are you good, dude? Very artsy. Okay, bye. Stop. Stop it. Get help. No fuck. Let me shoot him, please! He's right behind us! Why doesn't it work? Run, girl! Ah!
Happy Friday. Fuck, this is the wrong way.
Gonna hack it. Uh-oh. We're about to get murdered. Well, big. If you want to come back, I don't know. This is. You got vomited on a lot. It was a lot of vomit. Bubbles. The hot dog, it slows down. The hot dog, it approaches. The bubbles. It does an ocular pat down. And then the duck, it dives. My outfit suddenly makes sense, right? Because the duck thing makes sense for diving, right? Ducks are good at diving and like attacking stuff. The hot dog is to throw all of the fish off my trail. Because who would ever suspect a hot dog? I'm just a lonely little hot dog floating in the ocean, minding my own business. Don't mind me. And then I say, surprise, motherfucker. And then this fish is in my fucking pocket. Look at that. It's a sea urchin. I'm gonna put it in my pocket. No.
Show me your noodle. Okay, I have returned.
Where's your weird little...
Hello? Oh, hi, Carl. I haven't killed anyone yet. We're doing very good. I just killed the 2 people last time. No one yet. Curse cosplay is not tonight. Our Curse cosplay is going to be this Sunday, 12 p.m. MST. It's gonna be a fucking shit show in the best way possible. I'm very excited. It'll be fun. I feel like it's easy to guess what the Curse cosplay is, but that's okay. Anyway, here we are. Happy Friday, Carl. Welcome in. Okay, this man said the phones were charged, but they're only at 28%, so that was bullshit.
Whoa, look at this old thing.
What else we can look at here?
Hey, give me your number. I want to try it out.
Why?
Oh my god. I'm gonna flirt with him.
So that I can ask you out on a date.
Hell yeah, Carl.
Smooth.
Smart.
I think
in
if
the
I tried a cell
calendar.
phone number on this thing, it would just explode though. Hello? What?
What?
Well, that's fucking creepy. The phone said stuff at me.
Hello?
Okay, cheers.
It's weird. I thought I heard someone.
Maybe you should have asked them out on a date.
Damn,
Damn
I missed
bird.
my shot.
Wait.
Yeah, weed.
Oh God and Jesus. It's from the bone. Okay. Hello. Is that it? Oh my god, my husband is dying. Big cheers.
Yo, leave the gun alone, man.
You got it, boss.
Alright. Sorry. Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah. Breathe, church.
Nice.
Carl says don't die.
I will attempt not to.
It says 28%. Okay, whatever.
Hey, Dunzo.
All right, cool. Let's go.
Our phones are not charged and we will die. That's my prediction.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now Nick.
This would be a lot easier with Mr. H's chainsaw.
It's really very pretty out here when there's no kids around.
They can get kind of obnoxious, huh?
Yeah.
They always seem to listen to you during painting class.
You've seen my class?
Just walking by.
The art cabin's all the way out of the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, there's this shortcut that I take that goes by. Which way should we go?
Shady Glade or Rocky
Why don't
Road?
you choose?
Oh god. Okay, chat. Would we like to go to the Shady Glade or would we like to go to Rocky Road? Please cast your votes in the chat if you have a preference. If you want to go to Shady Glade or Rocky Road. Dun 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 dun. Oh, could I be like a professional and do a poll? Hold on. Oh, Shannon. Oh, Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna put it on for 1 minute. There's an official poll. There you go. Hi, Shan. I hope you're having a nice Friday night. I can't remember what the fuck Church said last night. I was lurking on you after stream, and we still had you up in the background in the in the office. You were saying something, and it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was fucking funny shit. It took me completely off guard. I didn't know what the hell was
I was
happening.
something like, "You're ugly, bitch." I can't remember what it was. You were fighting that game. It was fucking hilarious. It was great.
Oh, there's guys there. Ew, they're ugly.
Yeah. Ew, they're ugly. Something like that.
It was so funny.
It was good.
Ew, they're ugly.
Shan do be saying things. Okay. Oh god. Can I even see what my poll is? Am I that much of a professional? There's too many things popping up. Oh my god. Okay, we're 1 for 1. Damn it. That means I have to make a decision with my brain.
Let's go this way.
I'm going into the shady one.
Oh my god, are you okay?
I'll be
Bro.
okay.
It was a hill. That wasn't even anything. You almost just died from a
Come on, I'll spot
hill. Alright. I'm out here walking. Hey, girl.
So, I heard this joke about artists. It's pretty bad.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay. Here it is. Why couldn't the world's fastest painter ever keep a girlfriend?
Why not?
Because he always finished in one stroke.
Oh my god.
It's dumb. Sorry, Jacob told me about it.
Well, Jacob is an idiot, so that checks out.
Isn't that about golfers? Because of the stroke thing?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know.
Jacob probably heard it from his campers.
That
Oh,
makes so
Jacob.
much sense.
Those kids have filthy minds.
Oh my god, the
Just a
bird.
bit.
The bird
Just a
tried to
bit.
kill us.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've just been on a little... Just been a little edgy lately.
Why?
Hey, don't worry about it. It's just the forest playing tricks on you. I used to go camping all the time with my dad, and you think you hear and see some pretty weird stuff, but you just realize it's nature doing its thing.
No, I don't like this.
Did
Nick,
you
this
just
is
say thang?
dismissive?
No,
I don't-
that's the forest up to its old tricks again.
I've never been camping.
It's pretty nice if you open yourself up to it.
So you have to be open-minded to enjoy camping?
No, I just mean there's a lot of stuff you have to overlook.
Like basic comfort.
You really just have to try it. I could take you some time. If you want.
We are literally camping. We're
maybe-
in the woods.
Let's just make it through tonight first.
Yeah.
All right, we be out here walking. I be out here walking. They say romantic music again. Nothing scary will happen to you. We definitely will not kill
we're back
Brenda.
at the
That is
top
the
again.
#1 goal. It's the #1 goal, Nara. Hi, happy Friday. Welcome in. How you doing?
I know where we are.
I had a great time lurking in your stream the other day. I got very excited once I realized that everyone was a little snake and that I had not fully connected that your little, I don't know the technical term for it, your model, your PNG tuber, your VTuber, was a little Naga thing. And I love the theme. I love the theme. Oh. Shout out to Nara. I'm out here drawn. Yeah, little snake babies. It was cute. Ooh, Eldrick.
Abby,
Okay, well, I'm
you
glad
were
that I
really
caught
good.
the little snake babies
No,
while they
no,
were there.
This is nothing.
Oh,
Not
do
really,
you
I
have
know
a
what you're
new
saying.
model debut?
This is
No more
rough.
noodle
But if I
Nara?
can get a little bit of it down, then I'll remember it better later.
It's really cool you know that about yourself.
Oh, little ghosty babies.
so.
That's exciting. Okay.
Not everyone knows what they're capable of, you know?
I'm sure you're capable of a lot, Nick.
I mean, of course, I just don't know what.
I feel you. The waiting game can be rough, but I'm sure it's going to be
figure it
really
out.
cool once you finally get to see what the final product looks like, right? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Did you hear that?
It was a weird noise.
It's probably nothing.
It's that white guy in the woods who's rubbing blood on his face. Or maybe it's a crow. It's a pig.
It's so tiny.
No. Don't touch that. Oh my god, girl, you can't just go up and touch little wildlife. You're gonna get mauled by a boar in a second here.
Oh, hold on.
Oh my god, someone's going to get gored by a boar. I literally.
You're in danger.
Oh, we
Hunted
love
by a
Jenna.
creature
I love
indeterminate
Jenna.
or Jenna. Don't breathe. You need to stop breathing, tricking the beast into taking
Oh
you for
no,
nothing
I'm
but a
really bad
corpse.
at these ones, you
And where's
guys.
the fun in hunting that which is already dead.
I
Watch the visuals alter or listen to the sound change as the threat approaches.
I'm going to kill someone.
When the danger is past,
Yeah, I love Jenna. We love Jenna and Julian. I say all the time that me and my husband Church are very Jenna and Julian
exhaling or running
coded, except I don't know, spookier.
causing
I do not want to
serious
pet that dog. That dog is gonna maul me. It's a boar. This thing, I'm gonna die. How do I know when it's safe? That pig is gonna maul me. Oh no. Did I do it?
Jeez.
If born not friend, why friendship?
Close.
Born not friendship.
Thing almost just mauled me to death.
Yeah, that thing almost mauled you. I did it!
Oh, little piggy hog.
There's no way. You can't ever be out in the fucking
Guess we
woods
gave her a good story to tell
seeing
her
a
pig
little
husband.
baby creature and just
How
be
do you know it
like,
was a
wow,
mommy
that's
pig?
adorable. I want to pet
Had a
it.
pretty good
'Cause
look.
we're the goddamn mama.
Think she was coming on to me.
That's how you get mauled, my friends.
Got yourself a little girlfriend.
She wasn't that little.
Maybe the mama gonna be a friend too. I don't know. They would know you're harmless, Carl? Oh no. Carl.
Guess we should head back.
Apparently if you just hold your breath, you'd be fine. You're built different. I believe in you. Okay. They're still alive, y'all. I'm doing it. Oh my god. Or Brenda's song. Be going to go pet a moose. Oh my god, please don't do that.
Finally get my phone back and it's just a big dumb brick.
Damn, I'm out here taking beautiful pictures. My dog is yelling.
Just pumpkin.
Why is that spot up there lit up? Suspicious.
Hey, Caitlin. Guess what? Mr. H is a voyeuristic creep. He has hidden cameras everywhere and a secret room.
No, that's
He's
not.
multiple secret rooms.
Whoa, now, back up. What?
His eyes are everywhere. He's always watching us.
Yeah.
Get off, man. He's just got trail cameras set up, forest surveillance, that kind of thing.
Oh.
You don't think that's weird?
Well, he's got a perimeter to check, kids to protect. He'll probably just to keep track of
You
wildlife.
guys have no imagination.
So, what's
Oh,
going on
yeah,
here?
she doesn't like
You
it when
ready?
he does that. That's against the law. She says that you can't put your car on your front lawn, man. Who do you think you are? She says that's illegal. Yeah, there was a weird light up there, man.
I did see a weird light
Yeah,
in the treehouse
mooses
across
are.
the
You
lake.
don't fuck with
Yeah, that
no
was pretty
mooses,
spooky.
okay?
Maybe it's your girlfriend, Brian.
The Hag of Hackett's Quarry.
I told you
heck?
never to say Hag of Hackett's Quarry again.
What's wrong with saying Hag of Hackett's Quarry?
Are you done? I just realized we may never see each other again after tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have just realized that.
Just trying to set the mood.
What mood?
The mood, the vibe,
Speaking of setting the mood, I have work to do.
Oh, yeah?
Because playlists don't make themselves. I mean, I guess they do, but
All right, right guy. Time to get wood.
Yikes. Wording.
Oh, I know what I said.
Oh yeah, Brenda.
Abby, Nick, just in time.
We got wood.
We've already done that joke.
It's mostly just kindling.
Oh, that's all we need. There's already a big pile of logs here.
We could have gotten more, but there was a hog or a boar. But Nick was very, very brave and took one for the team.
Yeah, he almost got murdered. The Hog of Hackett's Quarry.
Oh my gosh, it can't be. The Hog of Hackett's Quarry?
What?
I thought you hated that phrase.
Big jokes take big sacrifices.
Mm.
You're so brave.
Oh, I just want to shrink you down to little pocket people and put you in my pocket and peep at you when I need a little pick-me-up.
Okay.
Whoa.
Special delivery.
Who is shooting?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where the hell did that gun come from?
Dude, relax, okay? It's not even real. Well, I mean, it's a real gun, but it's just for shooting bears.
We found it in the storage room.
Oh yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll put it down.
Thank you. Guns are no joke, dipshit.
And
We got one
we
shotgun.
bring you a hand-picked selection of only the finest that Hackett's Quarry has to offer.
No freaking way.
Yes, frickin' way. Pop, pop, peanut butter, butter pops. Pop, pop, pop them in your mouth. Pop.
I didn't even know you could still find these in here.
Pitchy, your
Cool jets
timing
there,
is
cowboy.
so
All
good.
right, these are spoken for.
Dude, you can't just shove those in my face and not expect me to want to pop.
That's
pop them in
amazing
my mouth. Come
timing.
on.
A plus.
Emma?
A plus.
Please hand me the shotgun.
What, you gonna shoot me over them?
No, dumbass.
God.
Okay, we are going to shoot for them.
That's a terrible idea.
Nah, dude. Absolutely.
Can we not all
no.
just share the fucking chips? He says, "Nah, I want to play with the shotgun really badly." I'm not leaving you with the fucking gun. That's my
There's
gun.
no way I'm leaving dillweeds alone with a gun.
Come on, look, the shooting range is like right over there. Okay,
No.
it'll be fun. Okay, look, you and me, old-fashioned shootout. First prize, peanut butter butter pops.
No.
All to yourself.
You cannot share peanut butter
Dude,
pops. I didn't know,
guess you don't
Carl.
really want them then, huh?
I didn't know. They gotta shoot to the death over those fucking peanut butter pop, pop,
Fine,
pop
you're on.
them in your
Yeah,
mouth. Pop,
boy.
pop.
Jacob, hand me that gun now. I mean, nobody's handling any firearms if you're gonna act like a dick about it.
Okay, then you can be the ref. We need an objective third party.
Okay, we're
You
trying to get a party
cannot-
started here, Jacob.
Okay, well, the main party's
Oh,
not going to die just because you're off on a
Carl,
little
I
side
want
quest.
chips.
Come on.
There's a very strong chance that I'm going to order
All
us
right.
food after dinner.
Guess we're gonna have
And
ourselves
after
all-time
dinner, I mean
shootout.
after stream.
Look, there's a
See,
clear
this
room
is
we
the
can use for
danger of
shooting range back
marijuana,
there,
my
but
friends.
If I see either of you dicking around, I am turning this car around.
Words hard.
We'll be good.
What kind of chips do you want, Carl? If you could have any chip right now, chat, what kind of chip would you want to eat right now? I know, Carl. Past you was so smart for sticking to it.
Okay, so just so you know, I was an expert marksman.
Want
Third
all of
class,
the chips.
3 years in a row. Ranked
Pico de
highest in the camp
gallo
each year. I'm
tortilla
just letting
chips.
you know
Oh, that sounds
that your
good.
goose is cooked, Nick. But if you back down now,
I've been really
I
on
might
like
let you just
a
have one little peanut
like a
butter
pickle
pop if you're
chip,
lucky.
like a
No
dill
way.
pickle
You've
chip
never even seen
mood.
me shoot.
Yeah, that's because you've never shot before.
Yeah, not that you know of.
Or ketchup chips.
Okay,
We've been
I
eating a
think I
lot of
would know
ketchup
it.
chips
Okay,
in the
boys,
household
I'm gonna have to stop
recently
you right there.
because we
As much as
discovered
I'm
that
enjoying
ketchup
your
chips
charming
don't
machismo,
actually have dairy in
when we
them,
step foot in
which
the
means
shooting
that
range,
church can eat
We're
them.
playing by my rules, okay? And what I say goes. Got it?
Oh, cracked pepper, Cape Cod
Now, I'm gonna go
chips.
set up
Are
some
those
targets
like
and get more shells. Do not
oh
move
my
a
god,
muscle
like a kettle
or touch his
chip?
gun until I'm back.
Yeah, so many chips have fucking lactose in them. It's bullshit.
So is it just me?
They just like put milk powder on everything.
always hot
They say this will
pencil.
make it better.
Thank you.
No,
Bye. Bye.
it makes me poo, and it makes me sad.
So how's your little
Poor
one-on-one
Church
with
can't
Abby in
eat
the
any
woods?
dairy, and he can't eat corn, so he can't have tortilla chips either, which are also usually dairy free. So he's just fucked. Oh,
Fun.
golden sriracha
How's your
Doritos! Oh
little
my
one-on-one
god.
with Emma?
I'm sorry, I've made a mistake by
Incredible.
asking everyone what kind of chips
She's
they
totally
want.
still
'Cause
into
now
me.
I really want
Really?
chips.
Just gotta figure out this whole long distance thing.
Ah, Miss Vicky's salt and vinegar
Is
of
that what she wants?
lactose. Really, Pitchy? I didn't
What
know
she
that.
wants. I mean, you could ask her.
That's good to know because salt and vinegar is usually one of the ones that you can't get. That's lactose free.
Speaking
It's one of those
let me
like
show you how
secretly
a real
milky
man
ones.
Shoots his gun.
Are you guys seriously still thumping your
Yeah,
chests at each
exactly.
other?
No, I think
Demon
he's got
Danny,
brain
aka Church. If
Okay,
y'all have
please
not
just
caught
give me the
on to Church's rebrand,
You'll have it when I
his
say you'll
stomach
have it.
rebelled when he turned
All
30.
right, huddle up, boys. This is how we're gonna do
Yes.
this.
Do British chips
You're
count?
shooting the one
yes.
on the left.
They're called
Nick
chips,
first,
so yes.
then Jacob's turn. Keep your fingers off the trigger till you're ready to shoot. You got it?
I gotta
Aye, aye.
redo your audio because it doesn't pop up anymore.
Two
It's still
things.
tied to Church.
Remember the spread. Remember the recoil. This is a
Yeah.
shotgun. We're not sharpshooting.
Poor
here.
Demon Danny. He
The
can't have
flashlight shows you where
anything.
you're aiming. Obs.
Can't have spicy. He can't have corn. He can't have dairy. But fortunately, there's a lot of lactose free shit. Damn.
All right, Nick. 1 point.
Hell yeah, bitch.
Okay, we're too far back to do
Yeah,
any real
potatoes are
damage.
the
Let's
best.
switch forward a little and
I'm
fuck
Ukrainian.
these guys up.
I love all potato.
You're good. All right, Nick. This time for real.
Yeah, there are so many lactose free cheeses. It's so good. And sour cream and yogurt. Oh, we just found a lactose free Greek yogurt recently, and that has been
Nice
life changing
shot.
because I fucking love Greek yogurt.
Lucky.
Yeah, we found lactose free brie recently too, and that was great.
Point to you, Nick.
Pew pew.
Good job, Nick. All right.
Is it Monsieur Gustave? I can't remember what brand
what
it
you
is.
got.
Is it a PC brand one?
All right, you might
The
want to.
lactose free brie? I feel like it's a President's Choice brand
I don't
one.
want to give you any more performance anxiety.
All right, all
Which
right.
like,
Just shut up and shoot,
fuck
Jacob.
them. But unfortunately, we have to shop in those
I
spots.
thought you were an ultra elite pro.
Oh yeah, the
marksman.
oat,
with, like, a
oat
rifle,
milk based
you know,
dairy
just like a
products.
cannon
Yes,
blaster.
That is how you get someone shot.
I also love an oat
No,
milk.
it's okay. You probably would have missed me anyway.
Hey,
Okay, disqualified for being a dumbass.
no.
I'm gonna fucking do the Butter Pops theme.
Ooh, what's that, Jakey? Huh? Huh? Pop, pop. Peanut butter, butter.
Okay, I
pops.
get it. I get it.
You could have shared the peanut butter pops. Jacob can suck my butt. He doesn't
Glenn,
like
thought this
losing.
was over?
Whoa.
Hell yeah, Brenda, I get it.
Pop, pop, peanut butter.
The only
butter
Frenchman I
pops.
allow in my mouth, Monsieur Gustave, cheese master. Bitchy. Yo, my house is so warm. Everything is moist. That bitch is so chewy, Carl. Oh, I wish I had my DGen button still. And I could do this instead. Carl. All right, we're camping.
Okay. New idea. party game.
I don't blame you. We
Come on,
love-
people.
oh,
we
it doesn't
might
like the
never
fire.
we might never see each other after tonight. Let's make some memories.
Well, what do you have in mind? What do you have in mind?
How about the ultimate game of
It's really having a hard time with the
secrets and
fire.
lies, truth or dare, but Dylan style.
Are you cackling in the
Okay.
background?
House rules are: someone asks you truth or dare.
Oh no.
Then you choose, and then you do, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Truth
so
or
like
dare?
normal truth or dare.
That is truth or dare, my
Yes.
So we can like make people kiss.
If they choose dare, yeah.
guy. He does look
As long
so
as
much like Susan Sarandon now that
consents,
that has been pointed out to me.
Cool beans.
Like I can see it like in his
I mean, keep it in your
eyes.
pants until it's your turn, but
Well, who does get to go first?
well, it's house deals, so
Who the fuck is the house? It doesn't like the fire. Everybody
Abigail.
block out the fire. Look away from the fire.
truth or dare.
PC doesn't like the fire.
Truth.
You really dodged a bullet, huh? All right, here goes.
Fire.
Have
Bad.
you ever slept
Yeah.
with anyone?
My favorite tweet of his was when he was like, I wish people would stop sending me the picture of my mom with her tits out. Susan Sarandon. Am I going to interrupt? No. This kid here on the
Have
screen
you
is
ever
apparently
slept with anyone?
Susan Sarandon's child.
No. Nope.
Oh yeah, that's so fucking
Sorry.
funny, Pitchy.
All right, Abby, it's your turn.
Thank you for posting in the Discord and blessing us all.
All right. Okay.
The fire's so bad. Stop showing it on the screen.
Abby, oh my god, just pick someone.
I can't give you any beef jerky, Pumpkin.
Okay.
I didn't know either until we started stream today. I found out today too. Today we find out.
Ugh. Ding, ding, ding. Too late. My turn. Ryan. Truth or dare?
I'm gonna do a dare and I'm gonna get
Dare.
murdered in the woods.
Give me what you got.
Okay, Ryan. Your dare comes with a choice.
Can't you do that?
I can do whatever I want.
Damn.
And I dare you to kiss either Caitlin or Dylan.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, I guess both is off the table.
Dylan was flirting with him
Sound like the
earlier.
rules.
I mean, you literally just did, but okay. Let's do this.
Are we? I'm gonna kiss Dylan. Dylan, you
Dylan,
were flirting with me
let's go.
earlier. We're smooching. Oh my god.
Always happy to please.
Woo!
Okay, the fire seems to be better now. Hell yeah. Hey, Pumpkin, are you back? No one's giving you beef jerky.
Alrighty.
Are you eating beef jerky? Oh, you're eating
me and
baklava. I
Jacob
see.
haven't gotten a turn yet.
Good point.
Oh, the encoding is overloaded. It fucking hates this thing. Stop looking at the fire, quick.
Caitlin, what do you say? Truth or dare?
Truth. Yeah, truth.
Let's see.
Interesting.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
That's kind of a boring question.
Oh my god.
Gotta answer.
Well, the answer is, I don't know. That's the truth. Sorry. So, guess it's my turn.
Nope.
What?
I smell bullshit.
Okay, fine. You got me. I wanted to be a street performer.
A street performer?
No way.
What, a street performer? You mean like
No, asshole.
Oh
like
my
a
God.
mime or one of those statue guys that moves
He's
when you
just
give them
like-
a dollar.
Caitlin is a mime? Yeah, no, I just can't imagine that.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah.
Ryan. Well played. Now it's my
Her
turn.
childhood dream was to be a mime? That's a mood.
Emma.
Dare.
Emma, so you have to kiss
Oh my god, stop looking at the fire.
Jacob or Nick.
Jacob is an idiot.
Well then.
Sorry, Nick. This is not even dare, obviously.
I don't know if that's a
Got
good
this.
idea.
I choose Nick.
Oh my god. Jacob fucked up everyone's cars, or fucked up the car for them all to leave,
Em?
so he could try to
Seriously?
hook up with Emily again. Quick, look away from the fire. Oh my god, she says I'm getting into it.
Guys.
Why didn't Dylan do that with Ryan? Bullshit. I mean, Jacob's kind of an idiot, so. But yeah, that is a little cunty of her.
Thank you, Nick.
Says, I'm mad. Where's the shotgun?
He's good.
Yeah, now she's mad too. Of course she is. Everyone mad.
You like kissing my girlfriend, asshole?
Oh my god. Yeah, she knows her friend was in dim. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
I'm
the shitty thing.
nobody's girlfriend.
The fuck it was. It was just a game. Yeah, the fuck it was, man.
See, and this is why we didn't give you a firework
Jacob,
and we didn't give you a shotgun
grow up.
earlier. Jacob, because you are unhinged and we don't
Well,
trust
I
you.
guess I should probably go after him. You should probably go find Abby.
Yeah, and he's got that goddamn backwards hat. Can't forget about that.
So, anybody want to play Parcheesi? What?
Stop looking at the fire. I need the fire to go away off the screen.
Fuck this.
Oh no, they're here. Yeah, right. Like this is. It always ends up as somebody angry. Maybe they don't dare everyone to make out with everyone else. I don't know. But they're all young adults, so that sounds about right.
I am, as always, delighted that you're here.
I didn't find any cards.
So, then,
she's gonna be so
What more has
disappointed
been
in
found?
me.
You return without any more of my cards. Yet you return nonetheless. Why is that, do you think?
I don't know where they are, ma'am.
I can't help you without the cards.
I don't know where
want
they
them found.
are.
I want them returned to me.
This woman's aggressive.
Please, my friend.
Okay, never mind. She's being nice about it.
That's all I have to say for now.
Damn.
Secrets remain buried and the night grows darker. I'll see you again. You can count on that.
Besties.
Be careful. Where the wolves go, the ravens follow.
It's so warm in my house. And I think we're gonna wrap it here. That's Sarah Palmer? Sarah Palmer? Wait, is like what is that, American Horror Story? Is it the right actress? Oh, fuck, that's a whole chapter. Okay, well, that's even better. I'm going to call it at that then, because it is so hot in my house right now, y'all. And we have wildfire smoke hitting us too, so we can't open up any of our windows right now. So we've got fans going, but it's just blowing hot air around, you know? That fun shit. And we do have an AC, but it's in a different room, and we need to go probably evacuate. Oh, from Twin Peak. Oh, I never watched Twin Peaks either, which I know is probably also blasphemous. Yeah, we got the smoke. We got it last week too, or maybe it was on Tuesday. We had it a little bit earlier too, and it sucked, but it be what it be, right? Yeah. It is what it is. Honestly, I've been really fortunate. We haven't had very much smoke. It's been a lot of rain, which also hasn't been the best because, you know, my house is flooding a little bit. But hey, you take what you can get and you go from there. I'm going to find somebody for us to raid into. I'm going to just do a short stream today. It's too warm. I'm so sweat. I'm covered in sweat. Yeah. We were #1 for the worst air quality in the world. That's fucking brutes. Yeah, we need to go get nice and cooled down. Okay, we're gonna go raid into Erie because I've never actually raided them. She's playing Subnautica too right now. This is a friend of a friend of a friend. I don't think I've ever gotten to raid them. I did see the Ebenezer trailer, Hugo. I caught part of it. I don't know why anyone wants that movie, to be frank. I don't know. I know that the new Resident Evil trailer dropped as well. I didn't watch that one, though, because frankly, I already know I want to see it, and I don't want to spoil anything, you know? I don't know. There, you can do that one. Yeah, the new Resi trailer. I don't even want to watch it because I know it's going to be amazing and I want to go in as blind as possible to it. One day I'm going to remember to write these down and then it'll be even better and I won't have to manually type this out every time. But until then, there's your raid commands, my friends. I think that top one you can do if you're subbed, and if not, you can do the bottom one if you're not subbed. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Oh. Yeah, I don't understand why Depp is like, this is like, the trailer to me, it was so weird. Like, why were they focusing so much on all of his other characters? And they're like, he was so handsome and he did all these characters and now he's here as an old white man. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Come and see me on Sunday, 12 p.m. MST, okay? Mwah!